सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। One of the most important aspect of Hindu religion is the regards and respect they have given for women here. I may be sounding, peculiar to many, because we were all told that it is in India, women were really oppressed. There is a tremendous women oppression. Suppression was going on in this country. Women were kept inside the kitchen only. They were not allowed to even come into the hall. They live only, they are born in the kitchen, they die in the kitchen. Very wrong idea. The proof is the number of gods and the goddesses we have. And every time we do everyday ritual, this is. See, every day people do these rituals. And the rituals, they say, for all the rishis, when they do tarpanam, when they offer to all the rishis, next statement is Rishi Patnis also. You see, so they are never left alone. They have never been given anything less. Been, maintained a very high respect. In fact, the scriptures were referred as Amba, means mother. In our culture, we see women more as mother. We don't see as lady, girl. There is no such thing as girl here. As soon as they are born, immediately we see them as mother. It is very unique here. Many times we'll find the father calling the daughter as mother. Very unique in this culture. Many times we get confused. How you are calling as this? Say. So the problem is that. And that's why we have a special connotations we have for this. As much as the importance given to the gods, we give that same valuation to goddess also. It's not that they are left out. Equal number of temples. In fact, for Shiva, we have only one night. Shivaratri every year we celebrate. For Shakti, we have 9 nights. That also not once, 4 times a year. Navaratri we say. 9 nights. For him it is 1, for her it is 9. That is a value given here. So it's not that, this. Now, why all these things were referred as mother has a very interesting reference. And not to talk about in the Vedas itself, we have very many Rishi Munis who were women. Women rishis were there. It's not only men alone. There were women who had been, who were all rishis. And we had a lot of poets in every language, be it, Tamil or Sanskrit, or you take other, languages, Marathi, or any language you take. We have lot of women poets also. And there has been a tremendous respect given to them. And the Veda itself is considered as mother. And there is a mother for the Veda. For all the mantras, there is one mantra which is so special. The highest of all the mantras known is the Gayatri mantra, which again is women. Now, this is where the problem is. We don't read the things properly. I'm not talking about the current, social issues. Remember, we discuss here philosophy. We don't discuss, social. Sociology is not the subject. What you need to understand is there is no discrimination in the scripture. There is nothing higher or lower. There is a difference. You can't say there is no difference at all. Differences are there. But there is no discrimination. Like what we understand today, the word discrimination politically. That way there is no opportunities being given to them. Opportunities were given only to these people. What opportunities? Read those things properly first before we come to certain conclusions. And obviously in any society there is always certain detestable, ruthless, gross, or unacceptable, barbaric percentage. In any society, you will have that. Even in this time, right now, we are having people like that also. It's just a question of power. That's about it. I don't want to go into the examples and all that. If you are not recording means I will give examples. We do the recording and all that. Now, do you realize about, I'm not worried or anything. It is a fact. You just see, in the news. Do you realize about 15 years back, right? We would not know all over the world. Not now I'm talking about. All over the world. I'm not talking about Indian statistics. Hardly we get to know about gang rapes. Of late, most of the time the rapes are happening gang rapes. Do you realize? And we claim ourselves to be, we are all getting educated. I say, peculiar we are. Human specimens are the most peculiar specimens in the world. All other creatures are normal. One abnormal, specimen, species is this human. We claim we are growing, we are developing, we claim those people to be barbaric, aboriginals. There is no such thing called rape in aboriginal society. And we call them as backward. This is what one fellow asked Vivekananda, why do you dress like this? To which he gave a reply, in your country, tailor decides who is a gentleman. In our country, character decides. It's not a costume. Today, all that we have learned is to camouflage. That's about it. It's the sophisticated way of exploitation. That's about it. In every level, I'm not saying, only this level, that level, and all that. In every dimension you take, everywhere, the same position. And we claim we are all getting more and more educated, more and more educated, more and more educated. I don't know for what we are getting educated. In the scripture, there is no discrimination. But differences are there. And differences will be there. Now, you cannot say there will not be differences. There will be differences. Inequity, there shall be. Yes. There will be. Now, you cannot say everybody is going to be getting equal opportunities. Now, how on earth you are saying everyone is getting equal opportunity? Now, what is opportunity was given to Rahul Gandhi? Will you get that same opportunity? Equal opportunity, we say. What equal opportunity? I'm not saying it is right or wrong. See, you should not get. That's not what I'm saying. The fact is, you are not going to be having equal opportunities. It is not possible. It's just fantasy belief. We have gone into that fantasy idea. There is no such thing as equal opportunities. Is the equal opportunity being given to the people in South Africa, the Zulu, Indian, and the white? Are they having equal opportunity there? You cannot. It is just weird idea. Differences will be there. There is no way that you can say differences are not going to be. Similarly, are all human beings equally born? Is another fantastic idea we have. Every child has come into this world with a clean slate. Stupid, no. The child doesn't come with a clean slate. The child comes with the prescripted one. There is something written there. It doesn't come empty. And we think, all human beings are equal. How can you say all human beings equal? Huh? Mike Tyson and Charlie Chaplin equal? Is Einstein and a musician equal? You can't say they are equal. Shakespeare is different, Einstein is different. You can't say they are equal. I'm not saying who is better. This is where our problem is. The moment we start this, immediately we'll say who is better, sir. There is no such thing called better. All unique. And you have your own things, I have my own things. You have your own strength and weaknesses, I have my own strength and my weaknesses. As an individual, as a community, as country, as humanity, as beings living on earth, at every level you take, we have certain advantages, we do have certain disadvantages, which means we are not equal. So differences are there, but the differences is not to be treated as discrimination. That if you can understand, then we can go through the whole thing. Without this backdrop, if you study, you will not be able to recognize certain things. And of course, there are certain practices, certain behaviors by a percentage of people in any society, in any form, had. You see, but question is, does it mean encouraged or criticized. Now, who promotes it? Promoted by whom? Promoted, accepted, recognized, sanctioned by those whom we call as authorities? That is a good question. Now, who is the authority, sir, here? That is where we don't look into any other dimension. We always look out who is the authority for these things in any society. You can't call all the scientists and ask them, nor can you call all the doctors and ask them, nor can you call all the politicians and ask them, nor can you call all the teachers and ask them. Then who? Whoever is recognized as the poets. The poets were the one who defined the whole thing. The quality of a culture is defined by the literature being produced by those poets. That defines the whole thing. They were the reference points. And today we find all over the world, no more poetry is coming out now. You see that? Even the poetry is coming out. They're also what? 3 lines, 4 lines, some song here, some song there. Now we think all those people who are writing songs for movies were considered as poets. See, they're also poets, no doubt about it. But it's all prescripted. A poet is not the one who prescripts something and then given. That's not poet. The quality and what is that they write, what is that is written there, that defines, that shows what that society is, what that culture is. That's why if you want to recognize, West, we go to Milton, we go to Wordsworth. You see, Madonna is not a reference point for us. We go to Milton. Similarly, you come here, means you go to Kalidasa, you go to Bhavabhuti, such people. And what is more interesting there is why we take poets is the poetry written by those people. By one generation, poet will not be accepted and recognized by the next generation poets. The society will not recognize and accept and continue to study. You see, that's where we say time-tested things. Time-tested words. Now, any literature you go, the poetry was written when? Ramayana was written when? Somebody wrote it, right? We claim that was written by Valmiki. Okay. Valmiki wrote it. Correct. Now, why that one print which was written? Now, we all know writing is not possible like today. I can publish a book straight away to 1 million copies and distribute it all over. Only thing is I should have enough money with me to print and to distribute. If I have money, I can do that. But even if you are a king in those days, it is not possible. Because every one of that needs to be handwritten individually. And in what they had to write, sir? In palm leaves. And you leave it for a few months, 2-3 months, if you don't take it out and clean it, it's lost. You see, the worms will start eating because they are, live things. It's not like our paper. In your own house, you would have, you can go and see. There are so many books you have not touched for months or perhaps years, still there, intact. Nothing will happen to it. It will be there. But palm leaves, you can't do like that. You see, just to retain it. I'm just talking about just the words to be transmitted from one generation to another generation. Such a tough period. It was written. We just read in the, Vedas were written 6,000 years back. Okay. Next one. Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years back. Okay. Next. Now, what we never pay attention to is, for 5,000 years, a book to be kept in the market. On the Google and all, they keep have, Amazon and all, they have that, list they give. Top 10, top 10, top 10, top 10. Songs also they have top 10, top 10. I don't know now whether they are doing. In those days, I do remember, every week they will have a top 10, top 10. This week also the same song has come as top 10. This week also came at top 10, top 10. I say, how? For about 10 weeks, 15 weeks, if a song were to be on top 10, means it's an extraordinary song. Now, today you listen to that song, what is it now? I play the same song to Purni. She says, boring. In the Pata Apana, you are enjoying. You say, we used to go gaga over that. We will stop the cycle, listen the song, and then go. If it were to be playing in a tea shop, we will be going by cycle. When it is playing in the tea shop, we would stop the cycle and we listen to that song and then move. She said, for this song, you would stop. Difference is what? Just a matter of 25 years. Just 25 years gap. Now we are talking about 6,000 years. The earliest one they say is 6,000. Today we have is still those texts are available. Kalidasa's period, they are not defined it yet. And we are still reading, we are still studying that. What do those people say is the reference point. You cannot be taking the reference point of what is happening to what these people are talking. They are not the experts. Who is the right reflection of the values of the society? If you want to know how much the society has learned sophistication, growth, look into the poets there. In newspaper, when did you see last poetry being published? Have you ever seen a poetry being published in any newspaper? Dinatandi used to come. Andiyar Padigirar. Some, 1.5 lines. Some stupid, song you'll pick up and sing. Some words, that's all. It's not a song actually. Just put 2 words, 5 words together. Instead of, putting it, horizontal, put vertical. We call that as poetry now. Now, in any literature, you see, any language, who is the greatest poet? Kannada. Who we consider as a great poet, sir? Superb poetry, this is. Last 50 years. I'm not saying today. Last 50 years, who is a great poet that we have had in Kannada, Hindi? You mean to say there are no poets at all? Nobody wrote poetry? Of course, there are people writing poetries. But of those people, we have to find out who is doing it. And poets to be recognized by the society is the most difficult thing. You know that. Poets are the most difficult one to be recognized by the society. All other people can be recognized. A musician can be recognized very easy. If I ask, who's can you name few people who are great, singers? You can say dancers. You can say, painters. You can say in arts itself. Businessman, you will give tremendous list and you will be number one in that. Who is the best businessman in Karnataka? First is my name will come. Not my name, In a way, I would say correct because zero investment. Without any investment, without any work, if you can earn profit, is that business or what you people do business? I am a better businessman in that way, correct now. Poets, do you realize you cannot name poets at all in any line, any of your mother tongue? If at all you have to think of a poetry, you think only in terms of what? Those who write songs for movies. I'm not saying they are useless. Remember, we know them only because they write there. Otherwise, we would not know. We have to go back to the periods of Kalidasa. Which society? Don't think in those days everybody was praising poets. No. Poets were the one who gets least recognition in the market. You will never find anyone who claims that he wants to become a poet in life. Ask any child. Have you ever heard any child? They'll say, I want to become this, I want to become that, I want to do this, I want to become a dancer, I want to become, painter, painting class, this class, that class. You will find parents also going for those classes, putting their children to that class, painting class. Some of them say pottery. Now this is one fashion now, new thing. Pottery, origami, this, that. Have you ever seen in any of your circle? I don't know how many of there in the class. How many of you here? There are 30 of you. 28 minus 2. 28 of you. I'll give you till next Sanatana Dharma class. Search. Check with all your relatives, all your contacts. You must be having Facebook followers, Instagram followers. You follow, people follow you. Investigate. In their circle, have they found any child who says, I want to become a poet? Any parent who searched for a teacher who can teach poetry? That is why we take the words of poets as a reference point. You don't take anyone as a reference point. Amongst the poets, there are grades. First, you need to refer who. Reference is poets. In poets, there are all-time grades. Extraordinary. How they become extraordinary, sir, is only by the time-tested ones. Today, we are having those rishis were called kavihi initially. Those people are referred as kavihi only. means poets. Why? Their words were the reference point. What they say the entire knowledge, the whole Vedas, as Shruti Mata, Mother Shruti. Vayana is a different thing. But what is interesting is it is never said as father, grandfather, and all that. Here it is mother. The reference is so important here. The gods, when you have three gods, those three gods cannot exist. They can never have a temple of theirs without the goddess, without their consort. They can never be. They can never be isolated from them. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Brahma's consort, wife, Saraswati. Vishnu's consort, Lakshmi, or we call as Mahalakshmi, or Lakshmi, whatever it is. Then Shiva's consort, Parvati. And what is interesting is they are not outside them. That is the most interesting part. Brahma's wife Saraswati, where is she now? She is seated in the tongue of Brahma. Where is Lakshmi? She is in the heart of Vishnu. Shiva went one step ahead. Brahma gave only tongue. Vishnu gave only heart. He said, I will give one half of my body completely to you. All over, he says. These goddesses, the gods cannot exist. Why? Brahma is a creator. Vishnu is a maintainer. Shiva, the destroyer. Creator, sustainer, destroyer. This is the basic idea. Now, for the creator, what is needed? Knowledge. You cannot create without knowledge. Therefore, Brahma wedded to Saraswati, goddess of knowledge. Then we have Vishnu, who is a maintainer. To maintain anything, you need constant resource. See, you can buy a car. Maintaining is a problem. Buying is not a problem. Banks will give loan to buy the car. Right? Who will maintain? Building a house is not a problem. Who is going to maintain it? Maintenance is the bigger problem. To maintain what is needed, sustained resources are needed. The sustained resources is what? Lakshmi. So Vishnu wedded to Lakshmi, goddess of wealth. Parvati is matter, Prakriti. To destroy, you need something, no? What is that now? That is Parvati. So Shiva wedded to Parvati. It's amazing how they conceive. And what is the most important aspect of creation? Knowledge. Knowledge transacted only through Verbal. Verbal transaction. What is Brahma doing there? Brahma, first thing Brahma does was he teaches. He gives the knowledge. What is the teaching? He teaches the Vedas. Vedas were taught how? Verbal. So, where is the seat of knowledge now? Seat of knowledge is a tongue. The ideas can be transmitted only when you have the tongue. Therefore, they said Brahma was giving. It's not that Brahma was not giving other things to his wife. You will be sitting always there. It's not that place. It's an idea. Similarly, what is needed for a sustainer, maintainer, is a heart. You should be able to feel. If you cannot feel, you cannot maintain anything. You can buy things, but I've seen a lot of people, they have, but they don't maintain it. Why? Because there is no identification with that. There's no love towards it. There's no heart. So maintainer, essential dimension is a heart, and the resources should be in the heart. That's why he has given the place. Vishnu keeps Lakshmi in his heart. Pakshasthala. That's why you go to Tirupati also, you will find, a god is embedded there on the heart. Same way, Shiva, half of it, everything to be desired, whole body should be there. So he has given these three goddesses. It's amazing how they conceived. And then comes the picturization. Then comes the specific idea of how do you visualize Saraswati. Saraswati is visualized as what now? With the very name they give it. Saraswati, the one who gives that Sara, essence. The one who gives the essence of what? Swa, one's own self. The Sara of one's own self, the one who bestows that, is called as Saraswati. What is the Sara of one's own self? The essence of one's own self is the self-knowledge. Knowledge of one's own self. Therefore, Saraswati is picturized in a particular way. Picturization. If you see the picture, you will find Saraswati playing Veena. She also has 4 hands. Right? They all have 4 hands. Now I have told you, 4 hands always means these things. Interpretation, each places it will vary to one aspect of it. But generally we refer them as 4 dimensions of your inner personality. Manas, Buddhi, Chit and Ahankara. The 4 equipments that we have is what is picturized there as 4 hands. Don't think literally they have 4. There are people who come, they genuinely think, actually they have 4 hands. Actually they have, Subramanya has 12 hands. It's not that, please. The hands, external picturization is a internal idea externally presented as a picture. The idea is this: playing Veena, and then she will carry on one hand, she will be carrying the books, the scripture. Right. The other hand, she will be carrying a japamala. So she is seated on a lotus, clad white. And the Saraswati is supposed to be sister of Shiva. How now? Saraswati also has third eye. Most of you know this part. Shiva has third eye. You all know. Saraswati also has third eye. Shiva is also white. Saraswati also white. You know, pure white she is. She is seated on the lotus. Lotus we have seen already. Lotus means it is representing the truth. Establish yourself on the truth. How do you establish yourself on the truth? Is through the pursuit of jnana, the one who gives that knowledge. She is established in that supreme reality. And she is inviting, you can also get established in that supreme reality by pursuing her, worshipping her, through her. Through her in the sense, what? Keep looking at her, what she is doing. You also do the same. What is she doing, sir? She is holding Veena. She is playing. What is that? Is the path of bhakti, devotion. Path of devotion. Devotion means what? Shravanam, Kirtanam, and all that you have to do. If listening, singing is the easiest form. Kirtanam is the easiest form of bhakti. That's why we sing bhajans, chanting, all those things. Because through that music has a peculiar impact. Not just a soothing impact. I don't think it just has a soothing effect on the mind. It's not only that. Music gives concentration. The classical music gives focus, concentration. You listen to the concerts. You learn music, you will understand it. With the tremendous calculation and concentration, the musician will be singing. A little he loses his concentration, finished. He'll make a mistake. Many times audience may not be able to recognize because they are ignorant of the music. We'll find suddenly they stop. They miss. They play wrong. It happens to a lot of people. It happens even to great musicians. Number one musicians also. A-grade musicians also get into that things. Why is that? Because they can lose focus. But what gives focus, if you want to build focus, one of the method is music. That is why Veena she is playing. That the essential dimension of bhakti is not to get things from God. The discipline of bhakti develops aikagre, the focus. Your ability to stay with something for a length of period improves. For that, music is a fantastic one. That is why she is playing Veena. And through Veena, what is it, sir? It is representing this bhakti. And she is holding the scripture on the other hand. Scriptures. The goddess Saraswati is still studying. What a humility she must have. Carrying books. She is goddess of knowledge. She is carrying the books. Unbelievable one. That's why Shiva, I said, no, he has third eye. Shiva also wears the Chandra, moon. Chandrakala, they say. It means growing. The third day. The crescent moon, say. The crescent moon, she also has. Sister, no. Equal rights. You see. Knowledge, even though she represents knowledge, we always associate knowledge with sun, light. But when she is representing, even the Akshanamurti also has the same. Moon only he wears. Same crescent moon. He also has. The Dakshinamurti also has. Why moonlight they have? Sunlight should be there. The problem with the sunlight is it gives that light, but also it increases the thirst. It heats up. It doesn't cool the system. You see, it heats up the system, thereby it increases thirst. You become more and more thirsty. When the sunlight increases, you become more and more thirsty. Right? In moonlight, that thirst also gone. The Trishna goes, he says. Like in Bhajagovindam, Shankara says, drop that, man. That craving, that Trishna should not. Your learning should grow like that of a crescent moon moving towards the full moon. It should grow. Correct. But without that thirst for it, without that craving for it, it should not be creating a thirst inside you. Because thirst is not a pleasant position. You feel thirsty. You know, most of us don't even know what is the meaning of thirst. Right? Most of us sitting here, we'll never realize it because the water is there and in front of me. I feel thirsty, I'll take and drink and keep it. Problem solved. The thirst you need to realize. Rajasthan, you have to go. Interiors. To go and meet people there. Walk for kilometers to take a bucket of water. Oh, unbelievable sight to see them going just for that. And when they're bringing that water, they'll feel thirsty, but they can't afford to drink it. Because if they drink on the way, finished. Again, they have to go back. So they'll feel thirsty, but they cannot drink. It's a precarious condition. Moonlight doesn't give that. That is why they wear the moon, crescent moon, that also. Not a full moon, crescent moon. Why? It should be increasing. The knowledge should be increasing. But that's what you have to do. Keep studying, keep studying, keep studying, keep learning. That is Jnana Yoga. Is holding scripture, the sacred scriptures on the other hand, is a pursuit of Jnana Yoga. So through devotion, you get focus. Through knowledge, you gain, through study and reflection, you gain wisdom. With wisdom and focus, you are qualified for the next one. That is the japa, meditation. Through that practice of meditation, japa, you gain realization. That is what Saraswati is representing. And she's invoked, and it's so interesting how they invoke these deities. See, we have this Navaratri, as you know. In that, the first 9 nights, that is 9 days, 9 nights actually speaking, but we call it as day. 9 days of worship. The first 3 days, the worship is towards Shakti, Parvati. First 3 days. Next 3 days, the worship is Lakshmi. The last 3 days, the worship is Saraswati. 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. Worship at the 3 levels of your personality. That's all. 3 aspects of your personality. What are the aspects? Physical, emotional, intellectual. Mind, intellect. All 3 levels. You got to pursue. Therefore, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. The first 3 days, they worship Parvati. Why? The starting point of any spiritual journey is destruction. You start with destruction. Destruction of what? First, you invoke the power of Parvati. Through Parvati, you invoke the power of Shiva, the destroyer, to destroy all the negativities in us, negative tendencies. Now, destroying negativities alone is not sufficient. You need to invoke positive also in you, the higher qualities. That is Lakshmi. Lakshmi, goddess of wealth. Don't think wealth means only material. We think, we have a very narrow idea of wealth. See, that's why they gave a very peculiar name. Another name for Lakshmi is Shri. I prefer this name. Of all the names, I like this name, Shri, because that word Shri has two meanings. One is wealth. Another meaning for Shri is poison. Artham, anartham is like that. Shri is one side, it is wealth. Now, wealth don't take literally, it is this. If you take it only as material, then Shri becomes another Shri, poisonous Shri. If you understand Shri to be broader than wealth, material, then wealth of what? Wealth of values, ethical values of life, the noble aspects of life, the higher qualities, whatever the higher qualities that you can think of. Now we have that qualities were all enumerated in the scriptures. So many qualities they have given list. You see, all those higher qualities, the inherent power that exists in the mind and intellect, thinking, the capacity to feel is the mind. The capacity to think, question, that higher aspect of the intellect. All this is represented by Lakshmi, Sri. After we remove all the negativities, we invoke the positive ones. And then you are ready to gain knowledge. Now, this is very, very peculiar to Hindu Dharma. Knowledge will not be given to non-adhikaris. That's why I resisted for almost about 25 years. I managed. Resisted, taking it to this YouTube and, this one, that one and all has been, people have been forcing me for, I don't know for how many years. I said, no, no, no. Why? Because knowledge cannot be given, should not be given to non-adhikaris. I'm not saying all those people who are watching YouTube are all, non-adhikaris. You see, adhikaritvam should be there. What is adhikaritvam, sir? That's why I don't prefer even this, Zoom classes. Not my preference. Why? A minimal commitment should be there from your side, no? What is it? It needs a lot of preparation. If you have to come to a class 8 o'clock, if the class is going to start, means you got to prepare yourself about 1 hour early. You see, you got to reorganize your things and you can go back to whatever you can do after 1 hour. So for 1 hour class, you got to plan for 3 hours. Right? That's a minimal thing. Minimum minimum you should have that. Now we see people telling, this Gita lectures we organize, once a year. We used to organize. People say, so far we have moved. We shifted, from town hall to, Chowdaya. We shifted for various reasons because organizing is becoming more difficult there. So we shifted. We shifted, so many of them. They say, so far? So far, okay. Now, it takes, how long it's going to take, sir? It takes about 1 hour. Okay. If it is not going to take that 1 hour, what are you going to do in that 1 hour in the house? Are you going to be engaging yourself in something higher than this? Nothing. You see, essentially, what are you going to do? Okay, you save that 1 hour. You sit at home, you watch that live. We will broadcast it. You sit at home. My point is that saved 1 hour by you is invested where? While coming to the lecture, going back to the lectures, you saved that 1.5 hours, 45 minutes drive, 45 minutes up and down drive. Okay, you have saved that 1.5 hours. By saving that 1.5 hours of yours, what did you do during that time? What were you doing? Nothing. At least when you are traveling, there is a possibility for you to extricate yourself from your entanglements. There is a chance for us. You see, this much of minimal withdrawal is needed. This is what we call as adhikaritva, qualification. And now, it's so interesting. People asking me, why don't we start, live classes? I made inquiries. I'm talking about you people. I'm not talking about the general ones. I've made inquiries. In that inquiry, the answer I got so far was 27% success. 2.5 of them have agreed to come back to classes. I said, live classes are there. See, live classes will continue anyway. Now, we are not going to stop it. Now, any class I do, we'll do on Zoom also. There's no problem. So that you get this knowledge. I don't want to deny it. But what is so interesting is, that will be there, is it? Then I'll sit here itself. It's so convenient for me. What convenience? Along with your indulgence, you want to gain this knowledge. You see, will not work. Remember, there are two types. Parvati is a peculiar type. Parvati, you cannot define her at all. You can't, classify her. Women were classified into 3 sections. Saraswati type, Lakshmi type, Parvati type. This Parvati type is, they cannot. Like Lakshmi, Saraswati, I said, no, she is white. Parvati, sometimes she is black, sometimes she is green, sometimes she is white, sometimes she is red. Now, she will go on changing her colors, But this one is, very interesting. Saraswati will get interested in you only if you chase her. You have to chase her to get her. Lakshmi, exactly opposite. If you chase her, she will run away. She will hide. If you go behind her, she'll chuck you. You look indifferent towards her, she will come behind you. It's an amazing one. Now, and that's why this subject is very interesting for youngsters. The moment you see, you can bracket people. This is Saraswati type. This is Lakshmi type. Now we know what to do with them. How to get. These portions are very popular. When I was doing college classes, amongst those boys, very popular ideas there. I say, correct, sir. That means what? Saraswati means you have to be after her. And more you court her, more and more she will court you. More and more you want to gain. You go to her, she'll come. But Lakshmi is a peculiar one. Fascinating behavior, Lakshmi. She will run away from you, but she will never run in such a speed that you cannot catch her. She will always give you that illusion of little more you chase me, you can catch me. She will give you that belief as though try little more, I will say yes. Try little more, I will say yes. She will give you that hope, and everyone falls for it. Everyone has fallen for it. No exception. There's no exception to it. Everyone. It's amazing to see how people fall for Lakshmi. Lakshmi, you cannot get her like that. Then how do you get her? You should become like Vishnu. What is it? Indifference. The moment you become indifferent in the sense indifferent towards the lower and committed towards the higher. When you have that, she emerges. That is the significance of Lakshmi's birth itself. She's birth. She was born from that churning the ocean. You all know the story, that Bhagavatam. It gives the story of that milky ocean. Kshira Sahara is churned. Kshira Sahara means ocean of milk. Milky ocean means don't think literally there is an ocean, with lot of milk there, and honey, rivers come and fall into it and all that. It just represent, allegorical there. It only refers to a pure mind, the sattvic mind. When you churn that sattvic mind, pure mind, what emerges out of that? She emerges out of it. When you churn that, first you need to gain that sattvic mind. Purity should be gained first. You see, then she will bestow. That's why she has a Swarna Hasta. You see, Lakshmi's hands. She has a Swarna Hasta. Pours wealth to whom? To whom does she pour wealth? She had showered wealth. One story most of you should be knowing. I would have referred that story earlier also. Shankara, before he took sannyasa, as a brahmachari, he was going for alms, begging. Bhiksha he is going for. And he went for a bhiksha in front of a house. And the rule for brahmacharis and all these bhiksha, brahmachari bhiksha is that a sannyasi also will come for a bhiksha, but for a sannyasi, that's a different rule. For a brahmachari, peculiar rule, said. This is how they qualify a person to gain knowledge. In the culture itself is that. Brahmachari should ask for bhiksha. Bhavati bhikshan dehi, he will ask. Bhavati bhikshan dehi will ask. Till a response comes from that house, he cannot move out of that place. Either they have to say yes or no. Till then you have to stand there. Can you believe? Whereas sannyasi is not like that. And then this man, they say sannyasi is how they have to be. They give example also. Example is when you are milking a cow, milking a cow, how long it will take for the milk to hit the ground. There's a cow, you milk it, the milk comes, it goes and hits the ground, you see. There is a time gap. That much time gap you can wait for the person to come out and give you. If they don't, move. This is how a sannyasi is supposed to be doing bhiksha. But for a brahmachari, that's not the rule. For a brahmachari, the rule is what? Till that lady comes out and says yes or no. One of that they have to say. Right? This boy is following the rule of brahmacharya. What is it, sir? Why they kept it like that is a fascinating idea. Why a sannyasi cannot stand, why a brahmachari should stand. He's in the learning phase. There, he has already learned. He is a man of wisdom. Man of wisdom moves in one way. The person who is in the path of gaining wisdom moves another way. So, brahmachari child is standing there. Balaka, standing. Can you believe? You got to visualize. That's how you should read those things. You got to visualize that situation. A young child is standing there in front of the house. Right? The kids also come, no? That what is that? Camelin or what is it? Halloween. Halloween, no? Yeah, Halloween. Halloween day, the kids will come to the house, and you should give only chocolate. You give anything else, they will not take. You know, they are a peculiar one. They say the child, it comes, give chocolate. So we have to buy chocolate and keep with us. 1 week before you should remember that and buy and keep. So we keep here in the house, 1 week before itself. I have put it in the calendar. In my Google calendar, you will find all this. Chocolates. Halloween is coming. So the kids will come, you have to give chocolates to them. Till you give, they will not leave. They will be standing there. The same, practice every day you have to do this, boy. A child is standing there in front of this lady's house. One look at the house, we can understand the precarious condition of the people living there. Right? But that's not his problem. He is supposed to go and beg, I beg, full stop. To him, they are far superior. Why? I am a beggar, you are having a house at least. See, goes in that house, that lady is not having anything. Absolutely nothing in the house. And she had to give something to this child. And the child is standing there and asking for bhiksha. She's searching. I used to sit and we visualize how frantically should have gone around, searching for something should be there in the house. Something should be there in the house. Search. After 15 minutes of searching, she found one rotten gooseberry or half rotten gooseberries. There were a lot of black spots. Usually, when we buy gooseberry, there should not be any black spot. We'll reject it. If black spot means it's out. Not like bananas. When you buy banana with a black spots is better. They say a good one that is. But gooseberry is a different equation. There is a half spoiled gooseberry is there, and the lady, what courage she must have had to bring that and offer to the child. You see, it's unbelievable sight. And the best part is, with tears in her eyes, that lady is bringing and offering that to Shankara. And that shows the daridra state of that family. Poverty. And taking pity on their daridram, not on them, is where Shankara sang first work of Shankara, first stotra, Lakshmi Stotra. And today that is popularly known as Kanakadhara Stotra. Lakshmi Stotra, you tell people will not recognize. And what Stotra is it? Kanakadhara, that we know. Kanakadhara, Dhara means flowing, showering. Kana is gold. Gold and gooseberries showered in the house for one full muhurta period. There. An amazing stotra that is. Kanakadhara Stotra. One. Shankara, she bestowed so much of wealth. Same thing had happened to the subsequent person of Shankara called the Vidyaranya. Historians may not agree to this, but I don't care about historians. Any mystical things, they will not. But it is a fact. This is a fact. During that Vidyaranya period, a great personality who has written, bhashyas for all the Vedas. And he has written commentaries and he has written works of his own. He has written on Jyotisha, he has written on this. So much he has done in terms of knowledge itself. More than all that, one of his greatest contribution is being instrumental in establishing that Vijayanagara, which we all know today as Vijayanagara, this one, Hampi, keeping Hampi as a capital. But the initial name of that state was not Vijayanagara, Vidyanagara. Later on, it became Vijayanagara. When he established this, his students picked up these two boys, Harihara and Bukka. He gave their name. He is the one who gave that name to them. So we don't know what is their original name, which resisted this Mughal oppression and expansion and all that. Restoral history. But what is interesting is this Vidyaranya, earlier, Purvashrama of Vidyaranya, he was a Grihastha. As a Grihastha, he worshipped Lakshmi. Right? And he did tapas. And Lakshmi appeared. And she told him, look here, this Janma, you have to live life of poverty only. So that is, nothing can be done. This Janma is that for you. What is, your prarabdha for this Janma is that. Next Janma, I will give you all richness. And immediately Vidyaranya did one strategy. Exactly like Shankara. What Shankara did was, when he wanted to take sannyas, mother was not allowing. So he pretended as though, the story goes, all of you should be knowing, one crocodile came and held. Now he is 8-year-old boy. How long it will take for a crocodile to eat that fellow? Elephant, it pulls inside. And now bisons, it is pulling inside. Now crocodile in that water is fighting with that 8-year-old child, is fighting with that. At least Punjabi child means I'll believe to some extent. Brahmin child, fighting with, crocodile. Stupid. Till mother comes and as a conversation happens between mother and the boy, and mother is debating and then she decides. Till such time, crocodile is waiting. Yeah. It's not like that, please. Now, just stories, don't take them literally happened. Okay. It's just a situation. They had to create some sort of a crisis. In that crisis, what, Shankara gave a fantastic argument to Aryamba, stating, see, this, I'm going to die before full life of mine. That's a sin. Second one is, to be eaten by an animal is another sin, for which I have to take few more births. That's all sin, according to the Shastras. You can't be consumed by animal. You can't be struck by animal and killed. Akala marana, that is. Not a proper one, that is improper. So you get sin. I have to escape from all the sins. I can escape from all the sins the moment I take sannyas. If I take sannyas, everything is washed away, wiped out. Right? That's what even our law says. Any debts you have, you take sannyas, finished. Nobody can recover the debt from you. Law also that. You had borrowed from this only. This law is borrowed from the Smriti only, that is. So Shankara asked mother, give me permission to take sannyas. Because if you are married, you have to take permission from your wife. If you are not married, you have to take permission from your mother to take sannyas. Not like what we all believe. I fight with my wife, so I take sannyas. Nobody will give sannyasa to you. If somebody gives sannyasa, then that he is not a sannyasi, first of all. Forget about you are not a sannyasi. The one who initiated you is not a sannyasi. So Shankara is still being a brahmachari. He has to take permission from mother. Willingly they should give. And mother said, now what to do? Abad kala, no. So now there is only two chances. Either he dies like this and suffers, or take sannyasa and die, get moksha. Which is better? She said, this is better. Take. The moment he took sannyasa, what happened? The crocodile disappeared. Crocodile left him. Because crocodile got scared. No, that's the argument. Because crocodile started thinking, Ayyo, if I eat a sannyasi, as it is, I have taken the birth of crocodile is because of the sins that I have committed, papas I have done in the last Janma. Now in this Janma, if I eat a sannyasi, finished. Another 1,000 Janmas I have to suffer. Therefore, leave him and go. So it left him and went away. Vidyaranya remembered it. He is studying Advaita, no? So he remembered that story. So he tricked Lakshmi. I've taken sannyas, which means my Janma is gone. Now it is a new Janma. Now I am a new Janma. Give me. And she poured wealth to Vidyaranya. Tremendous wealth. And she disappeared. After she disappeared only, Vidyaranya realized, yo, what? A sannyasi cannot have wealth. Not like our sannyasis today. Our sannyasis have golden throne, this one, that one and all is there today. If you want to get everything gold and, diamonds and all that, take sannyas. You will get more. Don't do business law. Business law won't work. Sannyasi is the best business today. You get it. That is not sannyasa. You see, sannyasi can't touch money. Now, all that gold and diamonds and jewels, everything is there right in front of him, but he cannot touch any one of those things. Why? He is a sannyasi now. He repented. I made a mistake. I should have waited. I should not be putting like that two hermits. He started repenting like a first hermit I behaved. I should have left it to God's hands. I should have waited for next Janma. I would have enjoyed. Now all this wealth is lying there. What to do? That is a time he realized what is the purpose for which he gave. It's the whole thing is her drama only. He made him take sannyas. She gave him all that. And she has given him the purpose. What is the purpose? To establish this dharma. It cannot be done without that support. So that wealth was given. Sitting on that treasure, he was waiting for the right person to come. The moment he saw these two boys, shepherd fellows, he identified those two and he took them and trained and established this Vidyaranya. And his name itself is Vidyaranya. Vidya is knowledge. Aranya is forest. He is a forest. So much is there in him. Vidyaranya also got Lakshmi's one. It is not that he's giving only here. She has bestowed, showered wealth. Even this Vedanta Desika of Vaishnava Sampradaya, he has also written one poetry. Vedanta Desika. For him also she has showered. How Plenty she has. That's why she has the Swarna Hasta. The hand itself is golden. She'll shower so much. When? Only when you are going for the higher. When you run behind her, she'll run away. You run behind wealth, she will delude you to believe that little more, little more, little more, little more power, little more beauty. That's what we see, everywhere in the world. Everything is fine, sir. Now, only problem is, the gray hair. The gray hair also should be coming here. It's not coming here. It's coming in the wrong place. What to do? Little more beauty we want, little more wealth, little more recognition, little more acceptance, little more respect. Of course, everybody is respecting, but this person is not. Little more, little more, little more. Get rid of that and move. Then you have Lakshmi coming towards you. That is why we worship Lakshmi as mother. See, not as a mistress. Mistress will get bored with you quickly. You can't maintain the interest of a mistress right through. You got to struggle. More you struggle, more she will lose interest. That is a mistress attitude. Mother, even if you kick her, she will be there for it. Ada mother. Even if you are disrespectful, you become indifferent towards her also, she will be there for you. If you want wealth to be there with you, treat her as mother, not as a mistress. Mahalakshmi. That is why in Vaishnava Sampradaya, they call her as Tayar. She is mother only. For Lakshmi, do we look at wealth, the comforts that you are having, enjoying, with due respects? Do you have a gratitude towards that? You are watching the class with your computer. Are you grateful to that? When I'm asking, you will say, yes, sir. After that, what? One small problem comes. What do you do with that now? Chuck it off. Throw that and take a next one. Throw that and take a next one. Throw that and take it. Which is what? It is all there only as a utility for you. Everything that you are having, you see wealth as a utility value only. That is a mistress attitude. Mother attitude is not that. Mother's value gets increased as she gets older and older and older. The value increases. You start respecting her more and more and more. You should be respecting her more. Today, we don't have that motherly outlook at all towards any woman. Everyone is looked up only as a mistress today. Now, in this culture, Lakshmi is worshipped as what? As mother. That's why this country was, invaded by everyone. A lot of them think, India came into picture only post-independence. I said Dutch Indian company was one of the world's biggest organization ever created. You know that? Company, even today. After that only East Indian Company. Now East Indian Company came when? Established when? The idea of India was existing when? The idea of India has existed even before 1947. It's nothing to do with, we have simple things. If you think you can get it, you don't need any great, research scholarly, not required. Little thing you look at, you will get the answer. People came, Turks came to India for what? Huh? Dutch came to India, Spain came to India, French came to India, British came to India, Greeks came to India, Mughals came to India, Arabs came to India, Persian came to India. All of them came to India for what? Vedanta is there? Huh? None of them came to India for Vedanta. Everyone came to India only for the wealth. There's so much of wealth in that country to plunder. You see, unbelievable. How can one country have so much of wealth? How is it not? Because we had the attitude of motherliness. Today, you say, Indians are rich, but India is poor. Indians are rich, but India is poor, they say. Beautiful statement. Why not? We don't look at Lakshmi as mother anymore. We have deteriorated and we have started using wealth. We started looking up to wealth only as a mistress. She will not. You can't fool her. She is far more intelligent than you. Look at wealth with gratitude, with respect, warmth. When you go for that, when you go for pleasure, you have that for pleasure. You have a car for pleasure, you have it. You have a gratitude towards it. Are you thankful towards it? That is the question. All the comforts that you are having, everything that you are enjoying is all Shri, wealth, provided you have a motherly attitude. You have a mistress attitude, poison. The name is saying Shri is one. She is going to behave as a nectar, or she can turn into poison. It is not in her, it is in your outlook. If you look at her one way, she is. Look at her another way, she is not. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.